All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Kelly Schwartz with Schwartz Consulting Group, and I have the privilege and honor today to have Chris and Emily, two of our local med experts. And for those of you who may or may not know, Local Med was last year purchased by Dental Intel, and they have formed what I call the dynamic duo. The power of Dental Intel, the intelligence, the reporting, the gathering, combined with an additional action item of now being able to schedule online with Local Med has been extremely powerful. So I'm going to turn it over to Chris and Emily in just a couple minutes, and we are recording this session so that you can go back and play it for your team or show at a later point. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and show you just a couple real quick things, and then Chris is going to go into detail. What I like most about Dental Intel is right here now, particularly for ReCare. The majority of you know that I'm focusing on using Local Med for hygiene visits only as we get started. But when you click on your pie chart to find someone's overdue, and I've got their name blurred for HIPAA, but you can click on their name, and then when you make that first attempt to reach that person, you now have this ability to do scheduling. So you can send them a text reminder to give them permission to schedule online. You can book an appointment directly if they call in, either hygiene or operative. And I'm recommending that we only do the hygiene outbound, but on the inbound, you can use this as a scheduling tool, particularly like Michigan, where you're not open yet. You would have the ability to make the appointment without having to log into your practice management software from home, and only you as an office have access to the operative schedule. And then you can send your own email reminder to schedule. And I'm going to let Chris go over the details of what they are and how that would look and all that. But one of the things that would change with this is now, like in your verbal skills with making an appointment, I could be saying, "Hi, Renee, this is Kelly from Dr. Schwartz's office, calling regarding your unscheduled appointment. Please give us a call to get scheduled." But as a convenience, I've sent you a link that you can go right on your phone or tablet or computer and make your appointment at your convenience. If we don't hear from you in 10 days, we'll follow up. So we're going to change that scripting a little bit, but the ability to have that is just really, really a powerful tool. So this is what I'm loving about this. And Chris and Emily have made available a couple little videos that you can watch what each thing means. And we have that as well as Local Med. If you could also maybe, Chris or Emily, when you're talking, I know there's a Local Med portal for when they have questions, like an intercom on Dental Intel. It talks directly to Dental Intel. And even though they're linked, I know they're not as proficient as Local Med is on Local Med. So if you could maybe show us how, when we have questions, we can communicate directly with you. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to turn the screen over to you, Mr. Chris. And let's go ahead and do this. And I am making you the host. So you are now live and in charge.
And just make sure that I'm showing the right screen. We are looking at dental intelligence here.
We are. We're on the COVID pre-screen.
Perfect. And like, just to kind of piggyback off of what Kelly was saying, these two things coming together are incredibly important, not only just right now, trying to bounce back and get through the COVID-19, but of course, once all this blows over, it's going to help you guys grow your practice like you've never seen before. So that's why these two things are coming to, while they come together is very, very powerful for us. And as Kelly alluded to, we have these different filters. I know most of you already have dental intelligence and know how to use the product there. So using these different filters to be able to have the data tell you who is the best patient to be able to target strategically, to be able to get them into your doors as quickly as possible, now has the added benefit of utilizing very quick and efficient scheduling. So again, while this can be utilized for any filter that you currently have under the patient finder, if you're looking to see about getting people who have crowns, fillings, any kind of restorative or major production that you're looking to get into your practice to make it again, like it's the best patients to help you bounce back, you can use that there. But I will go through just kind of looking at this COVID feature, just because we have this obviously for this time right now. And so what this is a filter based upon the patients that you have that have had broken appointments recently, and we're looking to get them back into the office. So as we clicked on here, and Kelly quickly showed you this, we now have this local med scheduling function that gives you the ability to schedule very quickly. And the three main ways that you can do that are the send now, book now, send your own. So the send now is one that's very important right now because we've had to move a lot of patients, reschedule, like we just talked about, moving that stay-at-home order to 5/28. So patients that were originally scheduled that we thought we could get in, we now have to move. And so that,
Chris, real quick on that dialogue on the bottom in the blue box, right? Hey, Garrett, you have some dental work that needs to be done. Are we able to tweak that or customize that at all? I know it might, or is it something that's in the works?
Not at this time as far as this section of it. With regards to send your own, if you use any tool like Weave or different things like that where you already have your own verbiage, then you can use this feature, and that way we can just give you a specific link. So whatever you're already saying in emails or text messages, all you have to do is quickly come in here, copy and paste, and put that link in there. So I'll show you that one there here in a sec. So as far as this generic verbiage, I don't believe we can change that at this time. I can, however, make sure of that, but I haven't seen where we can do that. But it does change based upon the different type of appointment that we're looking to get in. So if we are looking for restorative, if we are looking for hygiene, we can target those patients that do have the best, I guess we'll go here. All of the information that dental intelligence is able to show us that is going to be, like we said, the best patient to help us bounce back. So with regards to that, let's say because we're looking to reschedule a lot of these patients, we can come in here and delve into a little further. And now that we know that 5/28 might be the new time that we can see patients, we can select the date, and from there, the patients will be able to schedule either on or after that date based upon the your schedule that you already currently have.
So
and from there,
quick question on that. So let's say in my pre-setup, I did allow, say, Thursdays from May 7th to May 28th had been blocking my pre-setup when I set up local med with you. But if I pick that date of the 28th, they're only going to see appointments from the 28th on?
Correct. And awesome. and even if we didn't block it off in the schedule, it's still going to only show for this specific patient that we're targeting, because we're not necessarily looking to bulk schedule here through the DI, at least in the COVID time, because we want to strategically target these patients. So even if within your schedule you didn't block it off, because I'm selecting the 28th, everything else before that will not show as availability.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, and so it makes it very customizable. So if we have this person that for whatever reason, maybe I'll pick crown. They need to come in for a crown, and then the person that's 4th or 5th on this list needs to come in for a filling, and you would rather see them on a Friday. You can do that based upon specific patients. So it makes it very good to be able to like I said, strategically target these patients.
So I could even target then along those lines. Let's say I have people that aren't overdue yet, but let's say we're typically scheduling 6 months out. When they left the appointment, they don't know their appointment. We could go 5 months out and set a date. They don't get the reminder until they're within 5 months or month.
Right. So yeah, it's going to give them that time based upon when you want. Now, the way that local med schedules is we schedule as far as 6 months out. So it does, even if it's someone that you saw today and you want to see them again for another hygiene appointment, you can send them that link based upon that appointment type that you want to see them again. And then there's also follow-ups, the follow-up feature here as well, that you can set reminders for yourself and things like that within dental intelligence to be able to remind these patients when it gets closer to time. Now, I'm not going to send that because that is actually a real patient. But again, to what Kelly alluded to earlier, as far as bringing these two together and not having to even be in the office, this book now feature is my favorite because what it allows you to do, especially right now when we're not in the office, we may not always have access to Dentrix, Open Dental, EagleSoft, whatever it is that you use. And since we're working from home, we're having patients call us, email us, text message us, whatever it might be. And what we can do with this is based upon the rules and schedule settings that you give us to be able to say, I want certain appointment types and certain times and in certain columns and things like that. All you have to do is while you're on the phone, while you've just emailed somebody, you can utilize the local med scheduling tool and schedule them directly from here without ever having to leave the couch. And so based upon the different rules that we have, and this one is, kind of open. So, this is just obviously a demo, but let's say we want to open back up, well, I'll just keep using the 28th. And we want to get that person in that we're specifically on the phone with, email, whatever it might be, on the 8th, or I'm sorry, on the 28th at 8 o'clock. We can come in here, fill out their patient information, write any notes that we want to make sure, and then schedule the appointment. And it goes right directly onto your books. And like I said, you never have to be in the office. You don't have to be anywhere near your actual system. And that way, you can schedule those patients very efficiently while you have them on the hook.
So Chris, can I just clarify? So if I wanted to offer Renee one specific day at one specific time for one specific feature or procedure, that's how I would do that, and I'm able to do that?
Yes. So you can do it from a couple of different ways, and I can go into that if you have any more questions based upon the way that local med has the ability to schedule for you. But if we have it wide open and we tell our staff that we only want to have certain appointment types on certain days, this gives you the ability just to come in here. I mean, you have the schedule right in front of you, and you want to say emergencies on Wednesdays, and you can schedule them right there. And again, this is very customizable when it comes to the local med side of things. So right now, if we want to open up more times or be more specific about where we're putting certain things, we can go through that as well if you guys have questions regarding the scheduling side of things, which is going to be very helpful, especially in the future, having patients be able to schedule 24/7 based upon what schedule settings that we have set up. Lastly, and this goes to what Kelly was asking regarding the send your own. Same concept as the first one. We pick what we want, and then once we hit next, it gives you a link that is not only specific to that patient, but it's specific to the appointment type. So if you send out your own emails, whatever it might be, all you got to do is copy and paste that into that email, and then you can say whatever you want. So that's kind of how that part works. And again, right now, since we're not specifically looking to bulk send these out, we have a lot more time on our hands right now while we're going through all this. So it definitely gives us the ability to pick and choose what's going to help us bounce back. And then, of course, once we get through this, grow in the future. So that's what we're very, very excited about right now.
That's really cool.
So that's pretty much it from like the new local med feature in here. You can also come in here once patients do schedule to the online scheduling button here. And you can see all of the different patients if it wants to load.
Yeah, I was wondering how to use that. I was looking at that myself, and I didn't quite understand what this was that I'm looking at.
So this is just all the patients that have scheduled through local med, utilizing this tool. And this can also be found in the local med portal as well. And with there, you have all of their information. I will not let me select it for some reason.
Probably on HIPAA.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is. But it
so
does.
If I'm understanding you then, Chris, if I send Emily a message, that's going to show up in this portal, correct? But the minute she schedules, as that first patient did, that will also go right into my practice management scheduling.
Correct.
So this is what has occurred, whether we've reached them, whether they've actually scheduled. Is there anything other than it being information? Is there anything in terms of an action item that I should be doing with this?
So let me go back to COVID. And this is something I believe we should already be kind of familiar with. I believe actions under here, we have the follow-up. So if you do send somebody a message, you can actually add another follow-up. And one thing I will say as well is once we click or once we send someone a message to schedule in an invite, this little green part here will turn orange for, I believe it's 72 hours.
On that
Yes.
patient's name? So the orange means that we've sent them a local med invite.
Correct. So we don't, obviously we don't want, to like bombard these patients. So it does let you know that a recent invitation has been sent to that patient. And then, like I said, we can use the follow-up feature to be able to say different ones that are unassigned specific providers and kind of utilize that tool. Now, I will confess my ignorance as far as delving so much further into this because I'm still relatively new to that part. I know the local med side of things very well, but I can definitely get any answers that anyone has that I can't specifically answer right now. I'd love to take down your information, and then once I do get that, I can certainly reach out and make sure that we're all on the same page and we clarify whatever questions that you have. So please let me know.
So then when we go back to that local med dashboard there on the bottom left plus sign, so that if I were to scroll up or down is just everything that has occurred, correct?
Correct. And I'll just, while I have everyone here, I don't want to log in.
This is how you get into the local med portal.
Right. And I'm going to go into this a little bit further, but because of the idea of being able to utilize online scheduling, which is so powerful right now, practices will be able to have access to this portal as well. And you'll always have this information, not only within DI, if you're using that specifically, but it's good to be able to just know that you have the information in different areas to be able to schedule and get that information. So just wanted to point that quick out because you also have it here. So you don't actually have to leave dental intelligence to get this information. It's just good to point out that you have it in different areas. So you're always well informed no matter where you are with these two products.
Does it differentiate whether it was an operative appointment or a hygiene appointment in here other than in the reason for the visit?
So the reason for visit is going to be based upon what we have set up within local med. So if right now what we're very excited about having practices do is add returning reasons for visit. So because of all these patients that were already scheduled, they understand our practice, they know us, they were already committed to an appointment. And getting those different things scheduled. Local Med has a very long list of appointment types that we can add for the reason for visit, whichever way you want to put it. Again, whether it's crowns, whether it's fillings, whether it's hygiene appointments for different age groups. If you want to go 3 and under, if you're a pediatric dentist, if you want to go different things like that. We have a very long list, and we can basically customize it to be any kind of appointment type that you want. So we can basically add that, and then that way you can come in here and be able just to see who is scheduling for what, and be able to get those patients back in the door that were already committed. So we want to make sure that we get them back back inside.
So quick question. I do have a few periodontists and a few endodontists. Does this work for them as well as a GP as long as they have the right software?
Absolutely. So just to kind of show you again, I mean, this dummy practice already has 25 appointments, but I'll show you just real quick, because just to kind of make my point that this can basically work for any type of office.
So as a GP then doing endo or something like that, if I wanted to, I have that ability.
Absolutely. So if you see this list right here in the middle, these are all the appointment types that we have. I mean, you can see this list is just massive, and we can always add more too. So as you can see, we have some that are more specific. If you decide to do any promotions, like if you want to do Invisalign promotions, we can add that for you just for maybe if you want to do it for 6 months, we can add it and then of course take it away. So as you can see, I'm in just the G's and it's down here. So we can basically schedule anything that you need.
So because I, as a coach, I'm not in the office or in the books every day, but in my thinking, let's say Emily needs a widget and she's the only one in my practice that needs a widget. And the only time I want to see her is Thursday at 2 o'clock. I can go in and offer her just that one widget time that I have available without opening that up to all the other patients. Is that correct?
That would be utilized under the Book Now feature here within Dental Intelligence. So
that's something I would do, but not something I would send her a link for.
not that specific time, because well, it does send them a link, but if you do it through the Book Now feature, it will go directly onto your schedule. So if Emily calls and says, I need to get this and that, and you tell them, because this is looking at your schedule in real time. So
right.
this is your schedule. So whether you're in front of your Dentrix, EagleSoft, Open Dental, or you're looking at it from right here, it's the exact same. So you have all the ability to schedule.
That allows
exactly
me to book. Yeah, but the question I'm asking is if I want to send Emily the ability to schedule online after hours because I can't reach her, but I only want to give her Thursday at 12 o'clock for that one specific procedure. Can I do that with LocalMed?
For that one specific time, let's.
Or let's say I have two. I have Thursday at 4 o'clock and Monday at 2 o'clock only for her. In other words, I've made her a VIP. Am I able to do that? Or is that just too many steps? It isn't really how it's designed.
It's not necessarily designed to get them on, like, it's basically designed to have them on the Send Now or the Send Your Own, to be able to have them schedule it. But if you do have that coordination with the patient, you can always use this Book Now function. So okay. That's actually a really good idea, and I'll write that down and propose that to our development team to see if that's something that in the future we can definitely get as an added feature. I like that idea.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like every once in a while I'll get one or two openings for something, and I have one or two people that only those two people I want if they do these procedures. It'd be nice to give it that. Or maybe even if I had an opening in the next 2 days, normally I'm booked 5 weeks out, but I had a couple to be able to go right after. Be nice.
Yeah, that actually makes perfect sense. That's something that I believe that we could eventually develop to have specific times sent out, as opposed to just like with the appointment time, with the date and the appointment time. So that would be very helpful, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And we also, I know, like we talked about earlier, we have some people here today that don't have LocalMed. So if you do have questions, like Kelly said earlier, just let us know, and then we can go into a little bit of the LocalMed product a little bit further as far as the functionality within your Dentrix, Open Dental, and EagleSoft. Later on or whenever.
Is Emily, at one point you had sent me like a little tutorial of what each thing means in a nice little video. On the LocalMed portal, are there training videos on there as well? Or do they just get them when they sign on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Chris, you might be able to speak to this better. I don't think we have the same type of videos created for LocalMed's side. I think, simply put, too, there's a little bit more, DI's interface is a bit more interactive than LocalMed's. LocalMed's kind of more like you can set it up and there's not as much upkeep. So I'm not sure if we have many training videos built out, Chris. Okay.
But the three you have, so anybody who's watching, I've got 3 videos on what the basic functions are. So you can reach out to me or Anna, and we'll get them to you. For those of my clients that don't have LocalMed yet, it helped me with what is their onboarding process. So when they go on to LocalMed with the link we give them, they put in the code Schwartz. That allows you to use LocalMed at no charge up until June, or maybe a little longer for Michigan because you're not reopened yet. You would, if you have dental intel and working with me, you will not be under contract, you'd be monthly. But once you sign on, then Emily or Chris, tell me what's gonna occur to get that process rolling for the doctor who wants to use LocalMed.
Emily, you would know that, yeah, you would know that process, and then I can go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. So you would get the contract Kelly talked about. From there, you're just gonna schedule. We do like it's about a 15-minute installation call. And that's where our install team, they're just going to go through all of your unique scheduling rules. So they'll need access to the server, I believe. And then basically, it's going to be with whoever at the practice knows your scheduling rules the best. And then after that, we take like 24 to 48 hours to build it out on our end. And then it really should be set to go, and you can start allowing patients to schedule and utilizing all of these features. So the setup process is pretty quick, as well as the onboarding. And we don't really have a training, I would call it, just because once it is set up, it really is designed to run in the background. Obviously, in these times, you guys are going to be probably using it a little more hands-on than you would, in normal times. But that's really the whole setup process. It can be done in a couple of days, and there's really only about 15 minutes of time that's required from the practice to get it up and running.
And I just want to clarify, they're going to get a contract, but because they have DI and they work with me, that contract's month to month. So
yeah, absolutely.
Give you a chance to see how you like it. The feedback I'm getting is phenomenal. We had an office today. They had over 600 people that they had to reschedule, and they're using LocalMed. They sent me a nice video testimony about how awesome that is. Emily, I'll send that to you when we're done. I think it'll be something. A great tool. So,
yeah,
Chris,
I'd love to see
anything to add once they've done that?
Yeah, and one thing I will say that we're kind of excited about right now is that we are redoing a lot of these training videos to make them more interactive. So we will be able to give those to you once you get onboarded, and make sure that and you have all the information that you need. And then one thing I believe Kelly talked about earlier was being able to contact LocalMed or Dental Intelligence at any time. And if you can still see my screen in this little blue circle down here at the bottom, anytime, once you get onboarded, if you have anything that you need to change, add, whatever, you can contact either product and be able to, make sure that you get the support that you need so that these tools work as well as possible for you guys to help you grow your practice here in the future.
And one of the things I like as a coach and partner with LocalMed and Dental Intel, if any of our offices or people that we've brought to LocalMed have an issue, you don't get a timely response, please reach out to myself or Anna. Emily, Chris, Tom, the whole team there are just great at responding and kind of giving all of you a little bit of extra love and attention that you need. Emily has been great at getting people problem solved, but we've had very little. And so, Emily, Chris, we really thank you for how smooth you've made this for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Okay. Any questions from anybody? You can either type it in chat or unmute yourself, and we can help you through this right now. Any questions for either Emily, myself, or for Chris? Okay, well, I really appreciate your time today. Any questions I get that I can't answer, I will forward on to you. For those of you who jumped on today, we appreciate it. And it looks like I might have got just one popped up. Give me a second here. No questions. Okay, I think we're good. We are going to go ahead and when this all wraps up, we will post this on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So if you're not following Schwartz Consulting Group on Facebook or our Schwartz Consulting Group YouTube channel, every video, seminar, webinar, training thing we do, we're trying to post up so you and your team can watch it at a later date. So thank you very much. Give the LocalMed family a big hug for us. And thank you for making this product available at no charge to test drive. And I know it's all about giving back. LocalMed has just been awesome, along with Dental Intel, about making it easy for our clients to bounce back and recover quickly. So thank you again. Tell everybody we said hello and stay safe.
Will do. Thank you, Kelly.
All right. So now I'm going to Chris, if you could end the recording, please.
I'm trying. Oh, shit. I think it's back over to you now. Sorry about that. Clicked the wrong button.
That's okay. All right, I'm just going to leave the meeting and that'll stop the recording.
All right.
All right, thank you, Chris.
Absolutely. And if there's any questions that anybody comes up with that they had or they think about afterwards, send them over to us in any way through Emily or through whatever. And we'd be happy to get those answers over to you and just make sure that this is as smooth as possible for everybody.
All right, thank you. Rebecca, I know you just jumped on. We will have this on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page later today or tomorrow, and you'll get to see everything in its entirety. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good day.